Breaking news out of Rhode Island today. Yes, Rhode Island. The federal court in the smallest state in the union has taken one big step to putting Trump and his presidency in peril, as in orange jumpsuit kind of peril. In fact, Judge John J. McConnell Jr. in Rhode Island federal court made a ruling that has taken us one step closer to either stopping fascism dead in its tracks or sending us right into fascism. How? Well, the whole point of Mango Mussolini nominating an absolute clown show of a cabinet was to force Senate Republicans to become subservient to him. And it worked. Just ask Susan Collins. And the whole point of signing a mountain of ridiculous, disruptive, and illegal executive orders on day one was not only to create chaos, but a confrontation with the judiciary. So on Sunday, Kristi Noem and J.D. Vance just started laying the groundwork for defying court rulings and injunctions. And that step of defying court orders is so close that even the media is paying attention. Watch this.
What kind of test is the judicial system facing right now?
Maybe the most critical of our lifetime. Because Anna, our democracy depends on courts being able to enforce and interpret the law. If, when you have people like Vice President Vance dancing very close to the line to saying judicial orders need not be followed, if we get to that point and the executive stops following judicial orders, there is no more control or constraints around the executive. We have a country at that point where we see Congress increasingly abdicating its own responsibility to push back against this power grab by the executive. And if the executive is not going to listen to orders of the court, even, for example, if one of these issues percolates up to the Supreme Court, then there are no guardrails. You have what used to be three coordinate branches of government turned into effectively one.
That's kind of classic for the media, to pull right back when you are at the point of saying the unimaginable. Full-blown fascism will be the state of our political structure here. And since Trump keeps repeating that he will serve another term, that's something that needs to be taken seriously. But it's not like the courts are going to sit around and do nothing. Watch.
But seriously, though, what happens if this administration defies the courts and just ignores their order? I mean, you talk about protests, but who holds them really accountable? Do you see the court issuing a contempt order and the U.S. Marshals taking action?
I do. I think that the courts will start with civil contempt. They'll move to criminal contempt. They have broader sanctions. They're going to rule against the administration in that case. I think the Supreme Court will back them up. And Anna, look, the ultimate guarantee of a democracy is the people of that democracy.
So Trump, Elon Musk, and anyone else in the administration can be hit with criminal contempt of the court. And if a judge rules that way, there's not going to be some kind of delayed sentencing. People are going to be put behind bars. And so just today, Judge McConnell took us one step closer to making that happen. Today, he ruled that the Trump administration has defied his ruling and his order. According to the New York Times, McConnell said the White House has defied his order to release billions of dollars in federal grants, marking the first time a judge has expressly declared that the Trump White House was disobeying a judicial mandate. And the Times further reported that the ruling by Judge McConnell in Rhode Island federal court ordered Trump administration officials to comply with what he called the plain text of an edict he issued on January 29th. So the initial step here to find contempt has just been taken. The judge formally ruled that Trump and his clowns did not follow a court order. And then, in his ruling, the judge took it one step further, quoting an opinion from a previous case and stating, "Persons who make private determinations of the law and refuse to obey an order generally risk criminal contempt, even if the order is ultimately ruled incorrect." This judge is not messing around. He just told Trump and his administration, "I'm not going to wait around for your appeals. You follow my orders or I'm throwing your butt in jail." The question is not whether the court will follow through. Judge McConnell just made clear that he will. The question is whether the U.S. Marshals will follow through on a court order. This is where the real test of our democracy will come to a head. Our courts lack the legal means of enforcement. They rely on the U.S. Marshal Service to carry out the will of the court. And guess which branch the U.S. Marshal Service is in? Yes, the executive. That would be the very branch that Trump is purging and replacing with loyalists. Democracy will hang in the balance of that decision. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.